Every home has a story to tell. A place filled with lasting memories and beautiful moments unique to you. Furniture is a part of everyone's story. Start your memories here.
Come see the difference family makes at Furniture World Superstore.
If you're looking for a new SUV this winter, you gotta run the numbers. Let's start with 3, as in 3 amazing Toyota RAV4s to choose from. The luxurious Limited, the rugged Adventure, and the extremely quick XSE Hybrid at 219 horsepower. And those numbers all add up to 1, as in America's #1 selling SUV. Now when you run the numbers, get $1,250 customer cash, or get a great RAV4 lease for just $199 a month. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
Who's ready to party tonight?
I'm really scared to lose you.
The whole reason why we came here is because of trust.
What are the rules that you and your girlfriends established?
No rules.
This place is a pressure cooker, man.
She doesn't trust me.
That's why I'm here.
Temptation Island. New episodes Tuesdays at 10 on USA.
Thanks for watching Spectrum News 1. I'm Kayla Moody.
Today and every day, we are one Kentucky. For the latest updates, resources, and ways to help your community, head to SpectrumNews1.com/OneKentucky. It's 8 o'clock. Time to help futures take flight by supporting COSAIR charities.
Right now on Spectrum News 1, Kentuckians once again waking up this morning to a blanket of snow, making for a slick commute in many areas. And breaking this morning, a parking garage in Lexington partially collapsing, possibly due to the weather conditions. These new photos coming into our newsroom showing an aerial view of that damage. Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on this wintry morning. I'm Kayla Moody. The time now 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and we'll get to that parking garage collapse in just a moment because we have team coverage for you this morning with reporters monitoring the conditions in Louisville and Lexington. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Deidre Tate in the Weather Center. And Dee, the snow causing a tricky commute out there this morning.
It definitely is. Be careful out there if you're going to be traveling. Thankfully, a lot of spots have had a little bit of a quiet period in terms of the snow kind of tapering off for a while, but we have more developing across western Kentucky, and we're expecting this trend as we go through the day, kind of rounds of, let's say, some light to moderate snow, and in some cases, some mixed precip. But right now we have some snow that is filled in across western Kentucky. So Hopkinsville, we're dealing with some steady snow right now. Same for Greenville and around Fair Dealing. We have some light snow showers in our area. Princeton, similar scenario. A little bit of a closer view here. If you look at some of the snowfall rates out there, if the snow wasn't moving, if it was just kind of sitting still over us, we would be picking up almost about, let's say, 2 inches per hour just to the south and west of Crofton. And again, that's shifting north and east. So with some of these snow bands, there is a burst of more moderate activity. Owensboro, you're tapping into the snow for now. And as this continues to the north and east, then I think Louisville is going to start to see some of this snow as this next band is kind of creeping towards the north and east, towards the metro. So we'll be watching that. But again, for the most part, up and down 65 right now, not a lot in terms of heavy snow you're dealing with, maybe just a few flurries. We do have, however, some light snow showers that have developed around Bowling Green. Again, very light in nature. And then as we shift to the east here, we still have some pockets of some freezing drizzle being reported around the Hazard area. Lexington, pretty good in your region. And as we make our way up towards Covington, again, we just have some very light activity, mainly north of the metro. So we still have winter weather alerts in place across the state, and we are looking at an advisory to the north, and we're dealing with that winter storm warning to the south and also east, which means we're expecting the conditions to be a little bit more troublesome in the areas shaded in pink, as we could even have some ice that could lead to a glaze that, again, will obviously lead to some very slick and dangerous roadways. As far as the additional snowfall that we could see from this point, because we've picked up quite a bit in many spots, but an additional, let's say, up to an inch is possible, really statewide. Most of you won't get nearly that much, but up to an inch, we can't rule that out. Also, in the pink shading, we're looking at the potential for about 1/10 of an inch of ice that some of you could see. So again, just try to stay inside if you can, but if you venture out, just be ready for troublesome weather. Take your time on those roads. Highs today, very chilly. We're talking upper 20s and 30s out there. Many locations not getting at the freezing mark. If you do, not much past that freezing mark, and then everybody drops well below freezing tonight. Actual temperatures falling into the teens for many of us, and with the wind, it's going to feel even colder, and yes, those roads will be very slick. So stay tuned. I'll give you more details about when that warm-up kicks in. That's coming up.
Deidre, thank you. And breaking this morning, a partial collapse of a parking structure in Lexington. Our Mario Anderson is there with a live update. Mario, can you describe this destruction that you're seeing for us this morning?
Yeah, sure can, Kaylin. The first thing we want to pass along this morning is that no one was hurt, and also there were no vehicles that were damaged in this partial structure that has been collapsed. We'll zoom in. We'll let you see exactly what is happening right behind me. This all happened around 6 o'clock this morning at the BB&T parking lot structure, which is along South Mill and High Street in downtown Lexington, and a snowplow truck was on top of the structure when it collapsed. But when we spoke with the Lexington Fire Department, they say that they were not, again, involved and hurt in when that building actually collapsed, and they are unconfirmed. They have not confirmed the true source of what caused the top of the structure to collapse, but they are obviously, you can see from our live pictures this morning that we've got lots of snow packed on the top of the structure, along with some ice from the last several days of the winter storm. And we'll show you again some of the video from earlier this morning when we first arrived on scene, when we saw Lexington Police and also Lexington Fire working to block streets here in downtown Lexington along South Mill Street and West High Street, but then beginning their investigation into, again, the true cause of this. And we actually caught up with a electrician who works just across the street from this parking structure, and he says he actually parks inside of this garage each morning, and he described what he saw when he arrived to work this morning here in Lexington.
Today we were a little bit late due to the weather and everything, and thankfully, I guess that was a sign by God, you know, that we were a little late. Because if we were there any sooner, because we park right there where that beam fell, and so that could have been us, so thankfully we weren't there.
And once again, we're now back live here in Lexington, where crews are again starting the investigation portion of finding out the true cause of the collapse here in Lexington. Now, we did speak with Lexington Fire, as we said a little earlier, and they said that this particular area of downtown Lexington, again, which is along North Martin Luther King, a portion of West Vine Street, West High Street, those roads will remain closed as they work to again work on this investigation and secure the actual lot again. And we will be out here and bring you the latest updates throughout the morning.
Mario, thank you. And I was wondering if you could describe just how much snow you're seeing within that parking structure. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around how much would have to be on that parking structure for this to actually have a factor in this collapse.
Well, there's definitely several inches or so, and again, this morning we talked with the fire department. They said that there were the actual a snowplow truck was on top of the structure, just actually plowing the snow away, and they didn't get to complete that job this morning. But several inches from that overnight snow that happened this morning, so that's what is there. And then again, there's the slush, and what we're all waking up to in those roadways. That was what was on top of that parking structure. So a couple of inches worth for sure.
All right, Mario, thank you so much. It'll be interesting to see when that was last inspected. And so glad to hear that all those folks are safe today. All right, well, let's go now to Louisville, and of course, a tricky commute there as well. Our David Guilford is standing by live with a look at conditions there. Good morning, David.
Hey, good morning, Kayla. This is what constitutes as sunshine in Louisville for today, even though it appears that we're in between two different cloud covers. As Deidre explained, the system that we saw in the pre-dawn hours is moving its way up to Cincinnati, while we have another heavy cloud cover coming in from Owensboro. We should see the snow, which has pretty much died off, just a light flurry. We should see that pick up here in the next few hours, although it could taper off ahead of noon. But what this is hopefully doing right now is giving road crews a chance to catch up. They've been playing catch up all week, since last week, essentially, since we've had storm after storm after storm. And so we've seen the plows come through, and then hopefully these trucks are able to lay down some fresh salt mixture on some bare roadways before the next snow comes in. Can you believe that we're supposed to have maybe 50s next week? I heard a rumor we might be trading out this snow for mud, and then of course with mud we might have some flooding as well. So it's never a dull day in the weather in the Ohio River Valley. Kayla.
Welcome to Louisville. That's all I can tell you, David. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's take a look at the traffic that's taking place here. We are seeing quite a few slide-offs this morning, and I want to start by looking in the Louisville area because currently it looks like we are having 5 active incidents at this time, and I want to start with the ones that are on I-64. There are 2 happening right now, and both of them are near Hurstbourne Parkway. The first one, I-64 East at Hurstbourne. Right now, that has the left shoulder and left lane blocked. That camera there shows what appears to be an SUV or truck off on that left shoulder there, and also 2 LMPD officers responding to that incident. So just be wary of that as you're traveling through. Give those officers plenty of space as those conditions are certainly slick in that area. Also, again, on I-64 West, so just the other direction, also approaching Hurstbourne, the right shoulder there is blocked because of an incident there. Going down to the water, so you can see the backup there from that one, my goodness. Well, let's go down to the Watterson because we've had quite a few incidents there, especially in the south end of town this morning. I-264 East ramp from Poplar Level Road. The right shoulder is blocked there. Same story at I-264 East at Newburgh Road. That incident, that's a crash there, it's blocking the right shoulder. And now we have a new incident. Look at that. You can see them right there off the side. So make sure if you see something like this on your drive, give them plenty of space as these workers try to keep them safe as well. Real quick, the Gene Snyder, I-265 South at Taylorsville Road, right shoulder blocked there. We're going to keep you updated on the current conditions throughout the morning. Stay with us on Spectrum News 1.
Why do more people trust Baptist Health with their hearts? It's because we put you at the center of everything we do. From our treatment innovations and skilled teams who deliver care that revolves around your unique needs, to our full circle approach that keeps us by your side at every step. This is heart care that helps you return to the things your life revolves around. Because this is heart care centered on you.
If you're looking for a new SUV this winter, you gotta run the numbers. Let's start with 1, because Toyota Highlander is number 1, holding its value better than anything in its class. There's also the best-in-class 12.3-inch touchscreen and the 580 miles Highlander Hybrid can go on a tank of gas. Now when you run the numbers, you can get $1,750 customer cash on any new Highlander, or get a great lease for just $269 a month. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
Every hero has an origin story, but not a full mustache at age 15. It's The Rock's true life story.
What's your name again?
Tomas. Why'd you say your name was Tomas? Because it sounds way cooler than Dwayne.
From then to now.
Things change just like that. When you dream big, the sky's the limit.
I'll have your finest tequila.
No.
Fine, I'll have a vodka martini.
No.
Young Rock, Tuesday on NBC.
From coast to coast, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf, at Spectrum Reach, we make local businesses big and big brands look local. Grow your business with the best content, insights, products, and people. Welcome to Spectrum Reach. Let us show you around the neighborhood.
One another during these unprecedented times. For so many people, community is the lifeline that's keeping them going. We're all in this together, and we will make it through.
Celebrating Kentuckians everywhere, supporting each other in uncertain times. One Kentucky.
Thanks a lot for tuning in to Spectrum News 1. I'm meteorologist Deidre Tate here with your statewide forecast. And if you're going to be traveling across the state, be careful out there. Again, that's statewide because we've had a big event move through and the roads are not the best. So there could be some dangerous traveling conditions for sure today. Many roads are snow covered or we're dealing with slushy roads and even some reports of some spots getting some freezing drizzle or even freezing rain this morning. So there could be some slick spots also. So just allow extra time to get to where you need to go. No matter what time of day, whether it's the morning or the afternoon. Again, be careful out there. Temps today for many of us won't even get above freezing. So again, those roads could really be slick even after the precip stops. And so you want to allow extra space between you and the car in front of you. As far as some of the preliminary snowfall reports coming out of Litchfield, picked up about 1.5 inches of snow. We've picked up about 2 inches around the Okolona area in Greensburg. Picked up about 4 inches of snow. And then as we take a different perspective here, Middlesboro, you picked up about 3 inches of snow. And Manchester, 4 inches of snow, a little bit more than that. And Coomer Ridge campsite there reporting 5 inches of snow. So we've had a good dosing. And I think many of us are ready for a break. And thankfully we get that break once we head into tomorrow. But for the rest of today, through about midday, we'll have some snow showers out there. You see some shades of pink showing up. Some of us will have that mixed precipitation. But once we head towards 5 o'clock, if you're west of I-65, you start to dry out a bit. And then east of I-65, we're still dealing with some scattered snow showers, possibly some moderate snow at times, and mixed in some mixed precip in terms of freezing rain, maybe some sleet. And then eventually through the evening, all of that will wind down. Thank goodness for that. So by 10 o'clock tonight, outside of flurry activity, we're not expecting too much. And then we'll keep a few flurries overnight. But by tomorrow, much better in terms of no precip falling from the sky. But those roads could still be a bit dicey. So again, travel with caution for your Friday also. As far as additional snow that we could see or even ice, well, most of the state won't get much more than 1 inch of snow. But there are some spots across southern and eastern Kentucky that could pick up maybe about 1/10 of an inch of ice. So that glaze of ice could lead to some, again, travel problems. So be careful out there. Here's your forecast for today. Temps for many of us near freezing or just a bit below. Again, be careful traveling and again, on again, off again snow showers. Tonight, things kind of taper off, but it's going to be a very cold night and those roads will be slick. Stay tuned.
Governor Andy Beshear and Kentucky Transportation Secretary Jim Gray took time to update Kentuckians on road conditions, power outages, and alternate heat source safety. Wednesday, the governor visited the Boyd County Community Center in Catlettsburg, meeting with local officials to talk about the response effort. The governor says the State Emergency Operations Center is currently activated at Level 3, supporting the power outage response and the winter storm recovery. Beshear also says regional vaccination centers will remain open today. If it's too difficult or dangerous for Kentuckians to reach their appointments, Beshear encourages people to reschedule using the link in their appointment confirmation email. Tens of thousands of homes are still without power across the Commonwealth, but the hardest hit area is eastern Kentucky. And unfortunately, it will be at least days before some of those customers are back online. Thousands of them have been without power since the first winter storm came through last week. According to the Kentucky Electrical Cooperatives, hundreds of line technicians and contractors have been brought in from out of state to help local crews, but extreme terrain makes it difficult to reach down lines. In fact, 50% of the utility infrastructure in that part of the state is not accessible by road.
So you have to take an ATV, you have to hike, you have to take other ways to be able to access it. Now imagine doing all that in, a couple inches of ice and snow on top of that.
Crews are making progress. Since Tuesday, more than 40,000 customers have regained power statewide. As of this morning, more than 70,000 customers are still without power. And for more information, be sure to check out the Winter Weather Guide on our website. There we have the most up-to-date forecast as well as helpful tips on how to prepare for a winter storm. You can also find articles explaining the challenges with clearing the roads and how to extend your phone's battery life. Just head to spectrumnews1.com/KY weather. Turning now to the latest on the coronavirus, Kentucky adding more than 1,000 new cases Wednesday and 18 more Kentuckians died. And that takes the death toll to 4,336. The positivity rate is now just under 7%. Well, even though the new daily case totals appear to be on a downward trend, Governor Beshear says it's still too early to relax and let up on the precautions. But the incident rate in Jefferson County is steadily decreasing. On Tuesday, the county was considered out of the red zone. Now, that's the classification given to a county with an average of 25 or more new daily coronavirus cases per 100,000 people. And Jefferson was just under that at 24.9. Wednesday, the county's rate decreasing 5 more points at 19.9%. It's still not in the clear, though, as it's now in the orange zone, averaging 10 to 25 new COVID cases per 100,000. The state's overall rate is 27.85%. Expect a slippery commute out there this morning. We're tracking that winter weather for you just ahead in your Weather in the Ones. But first, our One Kentucky segment features scenic pictures from around the Commonwealth. Michelle Sievers-Morris snapped this stunning picture of horses grazing in snowy fields. Love that. Well, if you have a picture or video that you'd like to show the Commonwealth, just use the hashtag OneKentucky when you post it on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. We'll show it here on Spectrum News 1.
Most mobile providers make you get multiple lines to get their best price. But what if you don't need multiple lines? With Spectrum Mobile, you don't have to get more to save more. You'll get our best price on every line, which could help you save up to 40% every month.
That's great.
Plus, mix and match plans to meet your needs, with data plans starting at $14 a gig, all with no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. I guess it's no surprise millions of customers are switching to Spectrum Mobile. Switch today with data plans starting at $14 a gig. Call 877-958-7146.
You know this community and what it takes to get it going in the morning.
Your morning news, weekdays 5 to 11 a.m. on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
By the year 2025, over 80 billion devices will be connected to the internet, with thousands of digital interactions per person, all transmitting and receiving tremendous amounts of data every single day. This is our connected future, and at its core will be the Spectrum network, delivering gig speeds coast to coast. It's the backbone of today's technology and tomorrow's innovations. Just imagine, we did. Spectrum, think forward.
I've always been fascinated with the sky, and now I get to observe it every day, whether it's my passion for the stars or my love for telling you the weather. That's one of the best parts of my job. I get to come in here every day doing something that I love, working with the best equipment and working with people that are passionate about weather. Who could beat that? I consider myself really lucky. I have a great family. I have a job I love, and I live in a place that I'm so happy to call home.
We know changes are happening. We know there's more to be done. Now, as our community rebuilds, we'll continue to support each other, caring for neighbors and family today, so we can all be together tomorrow. We know none of this has been easy. Thank you, Kentucky. We're proud to tell your stories every day. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Off to a great start. We continue to keep track of the snow moving across the Commonwealth this morning, as well as that slick commute out there. Give yourself some extra time. In the meantime, let's head over to the Weather Center for an update.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for tuning in to Spectrum News 1. I'm meteorologist Deidre Tate, and unfortunately, we're starting out with the potential for some slick roads this morning, so be careful out there. We've been dealing with some snow showers, and in times, we've been dealing with a bit of a wintry mix. As we head towards midday, we'll continue with that trend. Now, throughout the morning, we're dealing with a lull in some spots, so not everyone dealing with, let's say, some steady, moderate snow showers. Some of you just having a few flurries out there, but as we go through midday, heading into the afternoon, more of those snow showers will return. And again, you see some shades of pink showing up. There could also be a little bit of a wintry mix as well. As we head towards 6:30, Most of this activity will be east of I-75, and then through the night, we're expecting the last little bit of snow to wind down and move out. So by your Friday morning, we are going to have a cloud deck in place here at 6:30, but for the most part, off to a quiet start. But those roads will still be a bit tricky to travel on, so you want to be careful over the next couple of days in terms of trying to get out and about. Now, as far as how much additional snowfall we could see on top of what we've already picked up, as you see, most of the models don't give us an additional inch. So I would think an inch or less is what we could see around the Lexington metro. However, for those of you across, let's say, eastern and southeastern Kentucky, you could pick up an additional maybe 1 to 2 inches of snowfall. So again, it just depends on where you're located. But again, this is on top of what we've already received. So we do have winter weather alerts that are in place through this evening. Again, we are looking at conditions that will be definitely not the best for traveling on today. And with the additional snowfall, maybe even a little bit of sleet mixing in at times, that could really make things a bit dicey. So we have a winter storm warning still in effect for a good portion of eastern and southern Kentucky. And even around the I-64 corridor, we have that potential for, some slick roads. So we do have, again, those advisories that will be in place as we work through this evening. So breaking it down for you in terms of hour by midday, 60% chance for snow showers, 27 degrees. By 4 o'clock, a 40% chance for snow showers, a temperature of 30. And then by 8 o'clock, down to a spotty variety, temperature of 27. And with the wind, it's going to feel much colder. For tonight, though, we're expecting the actual lows to drop into the widespread teens for many of us. And with the wind, it's going to feel like it's maybe around the single digits as you kick off the day tomorrow. So get ready for that. Now, as you look at your 7-day forecast, it looks like we're going to have actual temps in the single digits kicking off our weekend. But notice by Sunday, we'll warm it up into the 40s. Stay tuned.
This Friday, close to 800 people will be vaccinated at a church in Louisville. It's part of UL Health's ongoing effort to vaccinate communities disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Spectrum News 1's Eileen Street has more.
On his way to get his second shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, Pastor Timothy Finley said in 2020 he did triple the amount of funerals he's ever done in 13 years as a pastor.
Largely because of COVID-19. It's been absolutely heartbreaking. And this is something that I just find it's a no-brainer. It has to happen.
The no-brainer is the partnership between churches and U of L Health to vaccinate people 70 and up living in areas of Jefferson County disproportionately affected by COVID-19. The first pop-up vaccination site was at Community Missionary Baptist Church in Louisville's Newburgh neighborhood last Friday. This Friday at Pastor Finley's church, Kingdom Fellowship Christian Life Center, close to 800 people will be vaccinated.
I think when we look at the numbers and how COVID-19 has disproportionately affected Black and brown communities, I think that these kinds of events, these types of pop-up vaccination sites are absolutely critical to us saving lives in areas and in neighborhoods in our city that are feeling left out and are seeing so many of our loved ones die.
Dr. Jason Smith with U of L Health said the point of the partnership is to bring the COVID-19 vaccine to these communities for easier access.
At a location that is easier for the folks to get to, that you don't have to be at a drive-through location if you can't. And we're working on making phone calls, and that's where the churches are helping us.
Pastor Finley says weather changed the church's plan to go out to places like grocery stores to sign people up. Instead, all signups came from social media and word of mouth.
Something that surprised me, and really before this event, I was probably leaning on the side of people are just apprehensive. But this has shown that it's not so much apprehension as much as it's access. The amount of people who were absolutely desperate to get on the list.
According to the latest numbers by Louisville's health department on the total number of people in Jefferson County vaccinated against COVID-19, 11% are Black and 79% are white, while 73% of the county's baseline population is white and 20% is Black. Signups aren't just for church members. Finley says his congregation is majority millennial, so the church focused on signing up anyone 70 and up who is a person of color living in Louisville.
That's how we have to approach this. If we regulate this to membership, depending on the size of the church, depending on where the church is, that's going to absolutely affect how many people we get vaccinated. That cannot be the strategy going forward. We have to look at this as there are institutions in the community and they have access to Black and brown people. That let them do what they do.
In Louisville, Eileen Street, Spectrum News.
Dr. Smith says he has a list of about 20 other churches in Louisville U of L Health is working with for this initiative. And the plan is to continue these types of partnerships as Louisville moves through the phases to distribute the vaccine. Keeping track of what will hopefully be our final round of winter weather, at least for a while, we have an update in your Weather in the Ones. And don't forget to check out SpectrumNews1.com and the free Spectrum News app for your Kentucky news and weather 24/7.
There's a reason why car dealers come to Spectrum Reach Automotive when they need advertising that works. Because we uniquely build awareness for your dealership with the power and precision of TV and streaming to deliver results. That's how your dealership can reach anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Spectrum Reach is the most trusted media partner in America, and our local advertising experts are here to help grow your market share. Go to spectrumreach.com/auto today and let us deliver buyers to your dealership.
Spectrum News 1 is your trusted resource for local, up-to-date news, weather forecasts, and information. Now we're offering all of that wherever you are. Featuring the same team you already rely on, informing, empowering, and connecting you to your community. Download the Spectrum News app, available on the App Store and Google Play. Spectrum News, your community connection, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Show the connection we all have as a community that affect all of us as Kentuckians. I'm Chelsea Washington, anchor Spectrum News 1.
At Spectrum News, we're striving to help rebuild communities by bringing you the latest news from your team of local journalists. Stories that matter to you, now wherever you are. Introducing the new Spectrum News app. Refreshing storytelling, at home or on the go, exclusively for Spectrum customers. All easily accessible with the touch of a finger, providing the information you need to make better, more informed decisions across the places we call home. Download the all-new Spectrum News app, available on the App Store and Google Play. Spectrum News, your community connection.
Right now on Spectrum News 1, Kentuckians once again waking up this morning to a blanket of snow, making for a slick commute in many areas. And breaking this morning, what you're seeing here, a parking garage in Lexington collapsing, possibly due to weather conditions. Those new pictures coming into our newsroom just minutes ago. Well, good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on this wintry morning. I'm Kayla Moody. The time now 8:30 Eastern and 7:30 Central. We'll get to that parking garage collapse in just a moment. We have live team coverage for you this morning with reporters monitoring the conditions in Louisville and Lexington. But first, I want to start with meteorologist Deidre Tate in the Weather Center with an update on hopefully, this last winter system that's moving through for now.
Yes, we are going to get a break from the wintry weather. Thank goodness for that. I know a lot of people love snow, but we've had our fair share of it. So I'm sure many of us are excited about a bit of a break heading into the weekend. But I'm tracking right now some more snow that's developing and sliding in. We have a snow band that's working its way across parts of western Kentucky right now. Steady band right on top of Hopkinsville, Greenville. You're tapping into this. Paducah, you're just to the west of it, so you're still dealing with some very light activity in your area. A little bit of a closer view here. Again, for the most part, Kirkmansville, you're dealing with some snow showers. Crofton as well. As we move further towards the north and east, we are dealing with some snow just to the north of Litchfield. That band is just north of you, but it is sliding towards Louisville Metro, so heads up. We're going to have some more snow coming in, even though for right now we're not seeing too much, just maybe a few flurries, but we're going to have some steady snow kind of sliding into the metro area as we work over the next hour or two. to. E-Town, you're tapping into some steady snow right now as this band is kind of setting up. Bowling Green, pretty quiet in your area. You had a few flurries earlier and even some reports of a little bit of a drizzle in terms of freezing drizzle. But further towards the east of I-75 right now, again, just some mixed precip, maybe some freezing drizzle around Hazard, but generally speaking, relatively quiet. Roads are very slick, though. Be careful. And then as we head towards, let's say, the Lexington Metro, you're just south of a band that's taking shape, but it's sitting right on top of Cynthiana, so you're dealing with some steady light to moderate snowfall at the present time. So as far as your hour-by-hour outlook, heading towards late morning, again, we're going to continue with a scattered coverage of snow, some of us dealing with the wintry mix. As we work our way into the second half of the day, areas west of I-65 will begin to kind of dry out a bit. Anything out there will be very light at that time, 5 o'clock or so. We'll still have some steady snow showers, though, for parts of eastern Kentucky. And again, maybe even some mixed precip kind of slid in there. So again, a little bit of a mixture. But by 10 o'clock tonight, pretty quiet. Now, flurries could continue through the overnight hours, but generally speaking, once this last wave moves on out, we're expecting better weather by Friday. So as far as additional snow that we could see statewide, we're not expecting much more than a dusting at the very most up to an inch. That's at most. But areas across southeastern Kentucky could get about 1/10 of an inch of ice if we have some of that freezing rain kind of taking shape later today. As far as what it feels like it's 11 in Covington. It feels like it's 14 in Louisville. Dress for these numbers if you have to head out because it's very cold out there. Feels a little bit better east, but still cold nonetheless. So today, temperatures, again, very chilly, well below the average. On again, off again, snow showers. Some of you dealing with the wintry mix. And then for tonight, we have to get ready for a very cold night with some wind chill values in the single digits. Stay tuned. I'll give you more in your forecast coming up.
Dee, thank you. And in Lexington, officials there saying that the winter weather may have caused a parking garage there to collapse. Our Mario Anderson is live in Lexington with an update. And Mario, the good news out of this morning is that thankfully no one was hurt.
Hey, you're exactly right, Kayla, and good morning to you. Yes, no one hurt, and as far as what we've been told so far from the Lexington Fire Department, no vehicles were damaged from this parking garage here in downtown Lexington that partially collapsed just after 6 o'clock this morning. And we'll show you where we're at right now. We're at West High Street and Mill Street, and you can see one of the entrances to the bottom portion of that parking structure there is completely blocked with caution tape as the investigators are here on scene checking out the true cause of the collapse. Now, we'll get you to some video from earlier this morning when the fire department responded again to the scene here at South Mill and West High Street around 6 o'clock this morning, and they say that a snow plow truck was on top of the structure when it collapsed, but he was on the other end of the structure and managed to get off the top, and again, he was not hurt or injured in that incident. And then we actually spoke with one of the asset managers who is responsible for property and various building structures. He works with the web companies here in Lexington, and here's what he had to say about the partial building collapse.
This morning we had a failure on part of the garage. Everybody was fine. It was nobody was hurt. There were people that were present that heard it, but we're very thankful that nobody was in it, nobody was under it, no cars were hurt, and everybody's safe.
And back now live here in downtown Lexington. Of course, now this garage was closed or is closed today, and so are the sidewalks around it to keep people away. And some of the surrounding streets, Mill Street and West High Street, those are also closed at this hour as the city's, according to the city traffic manager. And then again, the fire department here in Lexington, they are officially investigating the cause of the collapse. But from that video that you saw, there was tons of snow from overnight that was on that top layer of the parking structure, along with some of that ice and slushiness that we've all been experiencing over the last several days. But that is the latest situation from here in downtown Lexington. But once again, to pass along that no one was hurt or no vehicles damaged in this parking lot garage structure collapse here in downtown Lexington. That's the story live from Lexington. Mario Anderson, Spectrum News 1.
Mario, thank you for the update. So fortunate it happened before people started arriving there this morning. Thank you. We'll check in with you soon. Let's now head to Louisville, where our Aaron Kelly is standing live and monitoring the conditions there. You can see this was just a little bit earlier today from the Payne Street overpass on 64, overlooking those conditions that drivers were dealing with this morning. Some slow travel out there, but things are starting to improve. Let's go now to Aaron for an update on the current conditions. Good morning, Aaron.
Yeah, we are in the Irish Hill neighborhood at Payne and Spring Streets, and as Deirdre just said, it definitely feels like it is in the teens. Really a bite to the air when you go outside. If you're walking your dog today or going for a walk, you're really going to want to layer up, because even with warm socks and gloves, you're going to feel it today. We still have a little bit of flurries coming down here. We're noticing that cars going by us aren't really having much of a problem getting down the street, but this is a really good-looking street in terms of, just how bare it is. There's not a lot of snowfall covering it. And some other residential streets or more, side streets, you're going to see it not look as good as this, and you may see some more slick spots. We know that the Metro snow removal team has been working in 12-hour shifts, trying to make sure that they're treating the roads. They've been using tandem snow plows, trying to get through some of those major routes, and they want everyone at home to be patient, keeping in mind that it's going to look different from street to street. And anybody that's heading out there, be safe. That's the latest in Louisville.
Aaron, thank you so much. Stay warm out there. And now I want to take a look at some of the conditions in western Kentucky. We're seeing some slick roads there, as well as some slide-offs. And I want to show you this tweet from Trooper Corey King. He shared some video. This is a video of a side road in Davis County. And take a look at that, just absolutely snow-covered. You can't even see where the road is. So just keep in mind that the conditions you see on the interstates are going to vary greatly from these secondary and tertiary roads. But also, he said that they did see several slide-offs this morning on the Audubon, I-165, and Western Kentucky Parkway. And let's go now to Louisville. I want to show you some of the latest conditions there and pull up a TriMark camera. So first, we've had a couple incidents on I-64 near Hurstbourne. There was one earlier on I-64 West. That's been cleared up now. On I-64 East, that one has been cleared up. But the one on I-64 West, the other direction, that one is still blocking the right shoulder there. Also seeing a couple incidents on the Watterson this morning. One of those is cleared up. However, I-264 East ramp from Poplar Level Road, the right shoulder is blocked. And then also you can see there's one there on the Gene Snyder, I-265 South at Taylorsville Road. And in that area, the right shoulder is blocked. So those are some of the main incidents you're seeing there in Louisville, but I want to show you northern Kentucky. We've been monitoring one this morning. This is in Boone County on the I-71 75 North ramp to I-71 South. Earlier, we reported that that was blocked due to a crash. However, that has been moved to the shoulder now, and that ramp is back open. So some good news there. Again, that is in Boone County. That ramp from I-71 75 North to I-71 South, that is now open, so traffic is moving freely in that area. So some good news there. A nice little update for you. All right, well, stay with us. We have more winter weather coverage ahead, as well as more news. And make sure that you send us your pictures from your winter weather. We want to see those backyards, or, perhaps what the parking lot looks like at your workplace. You can send those to us through the Spectrum News app. We'll be right back.
Snow will continue through the overnight hours into early Thursday, making for some slippery travel out there if you must hit the roads. The only silver lining tonight is it's not going to be nearly as chilly as it was last night, but that's not our main focus. It's going to be for those accumulating snows across eastern Kentucky. Now, we do have some winter weather alerts in place across all of eastern Kentucky. Winter weather advisory for areas near Woodford, back over to Fleming and Lewis counties points to the north. Winter storm warning south of there. Basically, everybody's going to see a couple of inches or more. The higher snow totals will probably be across areas in that winter storm warning. We're expecting up 2 to 4, maybe 5 inches in that area. Now, we'll time out the snowfall early on Thursday morning. The bulk of it's going to fall during the overnight hours, but it will be we will see some few lingering snow showers on Thursday, maybe a little bit of some freezing drizzle at times as well. But the bulk of this system is going to be out of here as we go toward Thursday evening. So if you have to hit the roads Thursday morning, here's what you can expect. Temperatures mid-20s, wind chills in the teens, and we will see those snow showers lingering into the morning hours. And again, there could be some freezing drizzle at times, which would put just a very, very light glaze on some surfaces. Here's your planner for the rest of Thursday. Temperatures continue to climb somewhat, still well below average for this time of the year, but we do manage to make it back into the upper 20s to near 30 for places around Lexington, but that chance for snow really comes to an end, especially by Thursday evening. I'll show you how much snowfall we're expecting when it's all said and done coming up here in a few minutes.
Refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
I think it's so special what we have going on at Spectrum News 1. I feel so privileged now to be in a spot where I work literally in all of Kentucky. Good morning and thanks for watching Your Morning News. The stories that we're telling are the stories that affect our kids and the world that they're growing up in. To be able to tell really the story of Kentuckians, you know, not just one town, but Kentucky as an entire community. I'm Kayla Moody, morning anchor, Spectrum News 1.
Thanks a lot for tuning in to Spectrum News 1. I'm meteorologist Deidre Tate here with your statewide forecast. And if you're going to be traveling across the state, be careful out there. Again, that's statewide because we've had a big event move through and the roads are not the best. So there could be some dangerous traveling conditions for sure today. Many roads are snow covered or we're dealing with slushy roads and even some reports of some spots getting some freezing drizzle or even freezing rain this morning. So there could be some slick spots also. So just allow extra time to get to where you need to go. No matter what time of day, whether it's the morning or the afternoon. Again, be careful out there. Temps today for many of us won't even get above freezing. So again, those roads could really be slick even after the precip stops. And so you want to allow extra space between you and the car in front of you. As far as some of the preliminary snowfall reports, coming out of Litchfield, picked up about 1.5 inches of snow. We've picked up about 2 inches around the Okolona area in Greensburg. Picked up about 4 inches of snow. And then as we take a different perspective here, Middlesboro, you picked up about 3 inches of snow. And Manchester, 4 inches of snow, a little bit more than that. And Coomer Ridge campsite there reporting 5 inches of snow. So we've had a good dosing, and I think many of us are ready for a break. And thankfully, we get that break once we head into tomorrow. But for the rest of today, through about midday, we'll have some snow showers out there. You see some shades of pink showing up. Some of us will have that mixed precipitation. But once we head towards 5 o'clock, if you're west of I-65, you start to dry out a bit. And then east of I-65, we're still dealing with some scattered snow showers, possibly some moderate snow at times, and mixed in some mixed precip in terms of freezing rain, maybe some sleet. And then eventually through the evening, all of that will wind down. Thank goodness for that. So by 10 o'clock tonight, outside of flurry activity, we're not expecting too much. And then we'll keep a few flurries overnight. But by tomorrow, much better in terms of no precip falling from the sky. But those roads could still be a bit dicey. So again, travel with caution for your Friday also. As far as additional snow that we could see or even ice, well, most of the state won't get much more than 1 inch of snow. But there are some spots across southern and eastern Kentucky that could pick up maybe about 1/10 of an inch of ice. So that glaze of ice could lead to some, again, travel problems. So be careful out there. Here's your forecast for today. Temps for many of us near freezing or just a bit below. Again, be careful traveling and again, on again, off again snow showers. Tonight, things kind of taper off, but it's going to be a very cold night and those roads will be slick. Stay tuned.
School leaders in Fayette County discussed the district's plan for returning to in-person learning starting next week. For the last several weeks, Fayette County has followed the guidance for what they are calling an in-person learning matrix. Now, this allows the school system to consider multiple factors when determining the appropriate mode of instruction. Kindergarten through second grade students were supposed to be the first set of students allowed back on school campuses this week, but instead, all students are learning remotely this week because of the winter weather.
And it just seems like right at the time when the cases started coming down, the numbers caused us to be very excited that, okay, we're finally coming out of this. There is light at the end of the tunnel and it isn't another train. Well, guess what? There was a train and it was called winter weather. And we just simply got slammed.
Students in kindergarten, first and second grades whose families chose the option of in-person learning will return to campus the week of February 22nd, weather permitting. District leaders also shared during Wednesday's virtual news conference that they anticipate having students in 3rd through 5th grades to start learning in person on March 3rd. This week's winter weather has been the latest in a long line of setbacks for small businesses across the Commonwealth. Spectrum News 1's Evan Brooks shows us how one Bowling Green business is keeping their head above water.
That's why we're going to try to do what we can do today sales-wise, and hopefully, weather permitting, we'll maybe try to open Friday, but just kind of depends on what it does.
For small businesses, it can be a challenge to stay afloat in the most normal of times. A huge rush before this week's winter storm lowered inventory at Ryan's Fatted Calf meat shop in Bowling Green, which has now been difficult to gain back.
Been unable to get any orders due to the weather, because some of our stuff comes out of Louisville, and Louisville got pretty hammered with some snow the other day.
Despite the weather, owner Ryan Barefoot is thankful for those in the community who continue to support his business.
We really want to thank the community that supported us and given what they've done to help, because it's a win-win for everybody. Because if it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't be here, and our customers appreciate what we do, and we appreciate them. And it just kind of goes hand in hand with the community, and we're happy and proud that we're able to do that.
Encouraged about the future, Ryan Barefoot is looking forward to getting through this winter weather, and of course, the pandemic.
It's been a chore, that's for sure, but we'll manage to get through it. I'm always being optimistic, and hopefully I'm seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully we can all get back to normal, as soon as we can.
In Bowling Green, Evan Brooks, Spectrum News 1.
New this morning, the Biden administration announcing a sweeping immigration bill that would create an 8-year path to citizenship, providing a faster track for undocumented immigrants. White House officials said Wednesday evening that the legislation was an attempt to revive talks on overhauling the U.S. immigration system. Biden said he is open to negotiation on the bill. This comes as there are multiple standalone bills in Congress aimed to amend smaller parts of the immigration system. Administration officials say the best path forward is to pass one bill or break it into multiple pieces. Snow blanketing much of the Commonwealth this morning. Give yourself some extra time for that morning commute. We're going to give you an update on your weather just ahead in your Weather on the Ones.
Go.
But first, our One Kentucky segment featuring my brother-in-law, James Krim, this morning. Some folks in the Commonwealth got lots of snow this week, but as you can see, it was more like ice there in Richmond as James takes a little ski down his backyard. Well, use the hashtag OneKentucky in your social media posts that you'd like the Commonwealth to see. Might end up right here on Spectrum News 1.
At Lexington Clinic, we're celebrating a healthy you. For 100 years, Lexington Clinic has been at the forefront of keeping your family healthy. Whatever the future holds, we are ready for the next 100 years. Lexington Clinic, your doctors for life.
7 years ago, the earth froze. And now the train is all that's left.
Snowpiercer has only one head engineer. A creator.
It's coming for you, Leighton.
It's going to be a long, cold war.
Who do you think will come out on top?
Snowpiercer, all new, Mondays at 9 on TNT and anytime on demand and on the TNT app.
You have come here to date other people.
This game of love has no roses.
Truth or dare?
Dare! But there are players.
I'm going to be coming to steal your girl.
We'll be fine.
Hookups.
It's going to be wild.
This changes everything.
And breakdowns.
Don't play with me right now.
Why am I crying?
Let the games begin.
Actions have consequences, boys.
Temptation Island. New episodes Tuesdays at 10 on USA. Set your DVR.
From coast to coast, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf. At Spectrum Reach, we make local businesses big. And big brands look local. Grow your business with the best content, insights, products, and people. Be on every screen with that one idea you need to turn a consumer into your customer. We're the most trusted media partner in America, and we're also your neighbors. Welcome to Spectrum Reach. Let us show you around the neighborhood.
Latest news from your team of local journalists. Stories that matter to you, now wherever you are. Introducing the new Spectrum News app. Refreshing storytelling, at home or on the go, exclusively for Spectrum customers. All easily accessible with the touch of a finger, providing the information you need to make better, more informed decisions across the places we call home. Download the all-new Spectrum News app, available on the App Store and Google Play. Spectrum News, your community connection.
To keep track of the snow moving across the Commonwealth this morning, as well as that slick commute out there, give yourself some extra time. In the meantime, let's head over to the Weather Center for an update.
Thanks a lot for tuning in to Spectrum News 1. I'm meteorologist Deidre Tate, and we're dealing with our third wallop, our third round of snow, and in some cases, sleet and freezing rain. But after today, things look much better. But by midday, still some of us dealing with some snow showers, some of us still dealing with that wintry mix. As we head towards, let's say, that 5, 6 o'clock time frame, some of us will start to see things wind down a bit, but still a few scattered snow showers are possible. And again, maybe even some sleet or some freezing rain mixing in. As we continue on, though, through the night, things do become a bit more quiet. We're not expecting much taking place overnight. Some of you across extreme eastern Kentucky, though, could still hold on to a few very light snow showers. Otherwise, a cloud deck will be in place as we head towards our Friday morning, 6:30, and there could be some flurries falling from those clouds. But again, nothing that will lead to anything accumulating from that point. But in terms of what we will see today, additional snow, we could pick up a coating, maybe up to about an inch, and that will be about it. So as far as your overall setup, again, we're expecting additional snow, maybe up to an inch, but most of you won't see that much, more so just the dusting at best. But parts of eastern Kentucky, shaded in pink, again, could see maybe about a dusting to an inch of snow, but more so with that mixed precip, maybe an additional a tenth of an inch of ice. So we have to be mindful of that. That will definitely lead to some slick roads. So through this evening, we have a winter storm warning in place for much of eastern Kentucky because of this fact, and on top of the fact the roads are just dangerous to drive on. That ice will make it worse, and you want to just be careful if you do venture outdoors. But through about midday, we're still going to keep some scattered snow showers in the mix. 60% coverage, 4 o'clock, about a 40% coverage, and by 8 o'clock, about a 20% coverage. Temperatures today hovering near freezing. Around 4 o'clock or so, we'll be at 30, but of course, with the wind, it's going to feel like it's only in the 20s. Tonight, actual temperatures fall into the low 20s and teens. It's going to be cold tonight. 15 for a low in Lexington, 21 tonight for Williamsburg, 18 for a low tonight at Mount Sterling. And then when you factor in the wind, it's going to feel like it's in the single digits for some spots. However, by Saturday morning, actual lows will be in the single digits. Get ready for that. But we do warm things up by Sunday. We go from 6 on Saturday morning to 44 degrees by Sunday afternoon. That's going to be nice with some decent sunshine. But then a cold front comes through heading into Monday, and that's going to bring us slightly cooler weather, but also a chance for some precip. But this looks like it'll be more so rain. Notice the mild temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Looking good.
Families in Texas are also dealing with freezing temperatures and snow this week. This morning, most power outages are in Houston, where more than 1 million people still don't have electricity, and many there are without water. Spectrum News 1's M. Wynn takes us there and shows us how many folks are coping.
Propane tanks needed for cooking and heating as millions endure extreme cold temperatures. Dennis Dominguez braves the freeze for this natural gas blanket.
To heat up the house a little bit. No water, no electricity, nothing.
Dominguez is one of hundreds here trying to get warmth for the night. Across the street, Alita Meza and her son get groceries.
It's really worried because the house is not ready for the cold, so we don't have not much food or propane.
Right before this, they also waited over an hour in the same line for propane.
But at least we got it. Now we feel a little more ready.
Millions of homes and businesses statewide remain without power. Meza lost power Sunday, and her son Ricardo Gomez says they haven't had any water either, meaning no cooking, cleaning, or bathroom use. He says the combination of issues have brought on risky situations.
Because people get cold, and then we have to go out and look for food when it's dangerous to drive.
But Gomez says there's a silver lining.
I guess I get to spend more time with my family.
Dominguez says he feels the same struggle.
We're all in the same boat, I guess. So, and complaining doesn't do any good.
Dominguez says he's willing to wait all day for this propane, even though the center said they're not sure they can accommodate everyone in line.
Hospitals in Houston say they're treating more people for carbon monoxide poisoning, and they're warning people to be careful when using propane indoors. Keeping track of what will hopefully be our final round of winter weather, at least for a while, we have an update in your Weather in the Ones. And don't forget to check out SpectrumNews1.com and the free Spectrum News app for your Kentucky news and weather 24/7.
This check of the Kentucky Lottery numbers is brought to you by Hughes & Coleman Injury Lawyers. We will fight for the money you deserve. Only in Kentucky is brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education.